Welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be looking at the Convoy T4, and it's been a long time since I've wanted to review this flashlight. Don't know why it's taken me this long, but I've got the version that looks the most gaudy out of all of them. And basically the T4 is a two AA cell flashlight. Also takes two 14500 cells as well. And if you want that maximum brightness, you have to use two 14500 cells. So it has the 3 amp driver in there. And I think this is a perfect flashlight if you're looking for, a good general performance light that takes normal batteries as well, just AA cell batteries. It's great as a gift, something to keep in your glove box. And it's still relatively bright as well. And as you can see, that finish there is, Convoy call it the colorful titanium finish. And it's just all these multicolored, almost slightly iridescent bits as well, shiny bits on there. And I've got the version with the SFT-25R, the round LED. It's very throwy and produces like a very long range spotlight looking beam, decent amounts of flood too, which is great. And there's various other LED options if you prefer a floodier, more dispersed beam profile. For some reason, I've gone for the SFT-25R. I think I'm just more biased towards long range flashlights for whatever reason. But, for most people, I think the Nichia 509A will be a great option with this light. And the titanium version of the T4 is heavier than the usual aluminium model, just by a bit, but it does offer superior durability, and it's got this unique premium feel as well. You don't have to get this finish, you can just have it stonewash or polished titanium. So as you can see with a bit of a close-up here, some really nice CNC machine finish. It's titanium alloy. I'm not sure which alloy they're using, but it feels extremely durable and premium as well, especially when you compare it to most aluminium alloy flashlights out there. And you'll notice it straight away. It just feels pretty solid and gonna take a good hit. So compared to a lot of aluminium lights in my collection anyway. Apparently they're using an oxide coating on the exterior of the light, and initially I thought maybe it was heat treated, because I know titanium can be heat treated to produce a range of colors, and they can run this through a laser machine to do that. But it just seems like the coating on this feels a bit opaque in some areas. But comment below if you think I'm right or not. Really trying to figure this one out. I do think it's an oxide coating, but the coating does feel pretty durable. Doesn't add any significant grip to the surface though, but thankfully there is a bit of fine knurling here on the battery tube, so that's going to help you to get a grip of this thing. The head here also has some cutouts. Well, that's a bit of knurling, but just here you can see these little cutouts, so you can pop in a tritium slot. Tail's got a bit of knurling there as well. There are some smaller cutouts here that you could possibly attach a clip to. Probably that last one up at the back looks to be better, more square cut. And I like how Convoy have used a titanium switch here on the back as well. You've got this section here at the back where you can attach a lanyard or one of those clips with the 2 screws in there as well. You can get from Convoy. The switch feels very solid and durable. So you have to give it a firm press to turn the light on. And there is no onboard charging on the Convoy T4, so you need to take out the batteries, charge them separately, or just use primary cells. In terms of what you get in the box, it's pretty basic. You get the T4 itself. Convoy include a basic lanyard there. I do like how simple the boxes are. And if you're buying from Convoy, you'll need to also pick up a couple of batteries. These are 1250 milliamp hour cells, but they only have a 3 amp discharge, which isn't going to be a problem because this light only has a 3 amp discharge. like I said, you can also use alkaline cells or nickel metal hydride AA cells in this flashlight. And the only difference is that, yeah, you're going to have 1 amp output. So it's going to be significantly dimmer than using the 14500 cells in there. Here's a little look down the bezel, the top of the flashlight. You can see the SFT-25R sitting down at the bottom. There's a white gasket and a smooth reflector to maximize the throw or the range of this flashlight. You've got a glass lens there on the front. And interestingly, the bezel can also be unscrewed. You can take that out if you want. I'm just going to leave it on for now. But yeah, that's the great thing about these Convoy lights, is that you can just disassemble pretty much everything by hand or some pliers, some tweezers. So I've got the 12 mode grouping version of the Convoy T4. So basically that means that you've got 12 selectable modes in here. To change those modes, I've made a separate video, which I'll link in the description. It's a little bit tricky when you're first trying it out, but once you get it, you know, it's pretty simple. But basically you can select from various modes. Now I've got a mode selected in here where it starts at 1%, 10%, 35%, and then 100% outputs, okay? You can also change the memory mode so that when you turn off the light and turn it back on, it doesn't remember the last mode. I prefer this so that it always starts in a very low mode, but yeah, I do use another grouping as well where it starts in the highest mode, so 100, 35, 10, and 1, so that when you turn the light on, it always starts at 100. So yeah, if you wanted to remember the last mode, you can turn on a memory setting in there as well. But like I said, I'll link that in another video down in the video description. Changing modes is pretty easy. Once you turn the light on with the full click, you just half press the button, and that's how you swap between modes. I really like this 12 mode option that you get with Convoy, because you can go in, there's even a setting that allows you to set the maximum mode to 50% if you don't want to access the 100% mode. So maybe it's to conserve battery life, maybe you don't want the light to get too hot. You've got that option in there. You've even got a strobe and a bike mode, a battery check mode on some of the mode groupings. There's even a mode that just has 100% activated. So every time you turn a light, it's always going to be in 100%. That's the only mode that you can choose. So it's pretty much in there, something in there for everyone. And that's what I really like about this Convoy UI. You set it once and just forget it. Okay, I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with my Convoy T4 with the SFT-25R 3 amp model. And you can see here, starts out at this 100% mode. And you get just about 3+ minutes of runtime on 100% before the light steps down. So you've got quite a dramatic step down around the 3-minute mark, and it's about 80% of total output, and it slowly starts to decline. So you can see by the 15-minute mark, the light is on about 10% of its total outputs. But yeah, you still get about 3 to 4 minutes of runtime between 80 and 100%, but it does step down quite significantly, as you can see. I ran a second ceiling bounce test here with the Convoy T4 on the 35% mode, and you can see here, you know, it pretty much lasts all the way to about 12.5 minutes before the light steps down to just over 60%. Here are some tests that I ran with my Audible Lightmaster Pro, and on the 100% mode, you can see the light reaches 348 meters. Pretty impressive considering the size of this light and the bezel. You've got CRI ranging from 66 to 69 and CCT ranging from 5,100 to 6,000. Also ran some temperature tests with my Zoe ZT-R01 thermal camera, and you can see here the maximum reading I got on the head on the 100% mode was 54 degrees Celsius. I took a second reading here as well on the battery tube, and I got a max of 35.4 degrees Celsius, which is very acceptable. Okay, so some considerations to keep in mind if you're thinking about getting the Convoy T4. So there's no onboard charging, like I mentioned. You're going to have to buy an external charger or have some 14500 cells that have a USB-C port on there. Where there are a few options out there, but they're not super common. You've also got the option of using just primary cells, but yeah, that's a little luxury, I guess, you forego. The second consideration is that there is a bit of a learning curve when configuring the light to the mode grouping that you want. I still think it's an excellent feature to be able to choose them. Once you set it, you don't have to think about it afterwards. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time to learn it. I'll put a little video of how to do this in the description. It's not too hard. The third consideration is that the T4 does not come with a clip. It does come with a lanyard though. The fourth consideration is that the titanium model of the Convoy T4 is more expensive than the aluminium version. Also doesn't dissipate heat nearly as well as the aluminium version. Thankfully, you've got a 3-amp driver in here that doesn't generate too much heat. Okay, it is heavier. It just feels a lot more sturdy than the aluminium one. And yeah, if you don't like the color, you don't like the weight, you can either just get the aluminium model or just a normal stonewash or polished version of this titanium flashlight. The final consideration is that I did notice a very large step down from the 100% mode, which was kind of unusual. I didn't expect it to have such a large step down. Probably run another test later to confirm again. Thankfully, I don't really use lights like this on the 100% mode, and you can just reactivate that 100% mode once it steps down anyway. I think on these titanium flashlights, you're probably better playing it safe because titanium dissipates heat a lot slower than aluminium. So yeah, it's not as good of a conductor. It is still a metal though, but you know, when you've got a 5-amp, even like an 8-amp driver and something like this, it just gets way too hot to handle. Overall, the Convoy T4 Titanium model with the SFT-25R is the perfect pocketable and general purpose flashlight out there. I really like that it accepts both 14500 and AA cells in an emergency. And yeah, it does come, like I said, with a huge range of LEDs that are normally not available for most AA flashlights. You've got those floody high CRI options like the Nichia 519A, or you can choose something like this, the SFT-25R, that's got a very long range. It's almost like a pocket thrower. And I can imagine maybe someone in security using a flashlight like this. I like that you can store it in your car, your backpack, around the house. It'd be the perfect gift as well for a friend or family member. What do you guys think of the Convoy T4? Let me know below. And if you have questions, I'll get back to you in the comments as well. I'll leave a link to the T4 in the video description if you're interested in getting one. If you found this video helpful, do me a big favor, click the like button on the video, share it with someone who might be interested. It just helps me to get my channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. Convoy T4, 1, 10, 35, and 100%. SFT-25R, making this really easy for me. It's a spill. Yeah, I had to get in this cloud formation. Looked a bit nicer before, but kind of like a mid-range beam shot. Convoy T4 with the SFT-25R, and this is 1%, 10%, 35%, and 100%. 3 amps. Such a large hotspot, and much more useful. I mean, for most people anyway. If you compare it to my T6 here to the right. Okay, with the same SFT-25R, but the deeper reflector, you can see it's got a bit more throw to it. And it's not a fair battle as well, because the SFT-25R in the T6 has a 5-amp driver. We've got a 5-amp driver, it's a 3-amp driver for the T4, but you can see it's more intense, sort of focused hotspot. But yeah, it's very nice overall. Long range beam with a ton of spill. Even the 35% mode's like sufficient, really. I'll go for a little walk so you can see the beam profile. Convoy T4 with the SFT-25R. This is 1%. Nice large hot spot. 1035. Okay. And 100. Alrighty, look at that. Now we're talking. At 3 amps, that's pretty impressive. Efficient. It really feels like a little spotlight in my hand. So all the way, you can see all the way down through to the end of those trees. 1, 10, 35, 100. I'll go for a walk again so you can see the beam profile.